Hey,
Good,
how you doing?
good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I
Okay,
can hardly hear you.
okay. Is it better?
It's like you're in a well somewhere.
How about now?
Oh, this is perfect.
Okay, we'll go with the microphone from the phone. How are
Mm,
you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Ade Tiger. You look so different from when you were acting in King of Boys. You look so humble. You look so soft like a sponge.
Well, one is the character that was created for television. The other one is
Okay.
reality.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it is a culture here on Live Chat with Josie that I'll ask you to introduce yourself.
Okay.
I I want to talk about Titi Kuti before we talk about Ade Tiger. I'm talking today with Titi Kuti. Then later we'll talk about Ade Tiger. So who exactly is Titi Kuti?
All right. Titi Kuti is a simple guy, content producer, filmmaker, all-round media personality, by experience that cuts across board. I like to live life when I can. I'm very easygoing. There is no direction to what I do for fun because I'm a very spontaneous person and I like to try new things. So whatever the direction of the spontaneity leads, as far as interest is concerned, is what I do for fun. Outside that, I invest majority of my time into my craft in the different sectors that I have experience. So that's pretty much it. If there are any areas you feel I haven't touched, you can ask. I will be happy to answer you.
Okay, so where did you go to school? How was it growing up?
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Was it in Lagos? You grew up in Lagos? How was
Yes.
it growing up in Lagos back then? How was it for you going to school back then? Such things we want to know.
Okay. Well, growing up was good. It was all right. I come from a very strict family, but luckily for me, I'd say my parents are one of those unique parents from that era that never allowed their strictness get in the way of my interest. I've always been my interest has always gravitated towards creativity from very early ages, which they spotted on time. I used to be very expressive. I used to be an eccentric dresser, just a dress so eccentric. And this was the time when children had to carry a certain look to look responsible. You had to wear a low cut. You had to, not your tie. You look, and I had wild-looking dreadlocks. I was wearing torn shirts. I had safety pins in my shirt. Yeah, so it was sometimes I know it was uncomfortable for my parents because they did get the heat from their friends who also had responsible children, and like, why does your child look like this? But they just they just always looked away from it. Like they never judged me by my interests and my expressions. If I did something wrong, they will address what I did wrong,
Mhm.
and that on its own seemed to be some sort of a subtle conscience for me because I understood what they were going through, investing that much trust in me. So I was made up my mind. It was a self guide to ensure that I never betrayed that trust and never took undue advantage of it. So it was fun. It was a mix of both. So a lot of times people used to call me Fela's child, even from young because of my surname and stuff. So even though family, I was always happy to say, okay, these guys are my family members, but I'm not a member. I'm not a child. I'm not a child. I'm not Femi Kuti's brother or anything. So I've
Yeah.
had that from time. I'm a great admirer of Fela Kuti. I think he's a visionary whose message is in his craft and would be silenced even at the point of death. So I've admired him since childhood. That's giving you my music interest. I've been to Kalakuta Republic a number of times. I was going there, while growing up, but it never really affected my shaping as an individual. I never got exuberant about it. I never got lost. I just enjoyed it for the art of it.
Mm, okay. All
So
right. Yeah, that was actually going to be one of my questions, that are you related to Fela Kuti? Because I mean, the first time I saw your surname, I was like, oh, that should be Fela Kuti's son or maybe cousin or something, because I know talent runs in the blood, in the family.
that's a very predictable question because trust me, you are. I would say if I had to count by numbers, at least 100 journalists have asked me the same question, and
Mhm.
there have even been full-blown articles, some of them false, about me being his child. So I will answer again for the benefit of those who haven't heard the news anywhere else. All right. Yes, I am related to Fela by blood, but I am not his child. I'm not Femi's brother. I'm not Seun's brother. Even though I know them, I'm not his child. So, and I'm still going to encourage bloggers who start to come up with information without, especially finding truth or a background evidence for it, that you should understand that these things affect people's lives. Yeah, and like my dad, my mom read full-blown articles about how I was Fela's hidden son.
You know, they can't even claim their own child now.
They just laughed over it. They were mature. They laughed over it. Like, I didn't realize this. You know, there was even one that said, "Oh, that my mom used to be one of the dancers as in the cage." Wow. But you know, look, trust me. You know, honestly, no disrespect to the women who dance in the cage. Every time I go to the shrine, I spend money on them because it is art. What they do is very crafty and is very appreciated. Trust me, that whole setup cannot be complete without those women. So I go there, I spend money. But my mom was never one of them.
So what does your mom do?
My mom is a businesswoman, actually. She deals textiles. She's an all-around business person. She's the typical.
So far from the arts. She's far from the arts.
Woman business spirit. I mean, she's tried almost every business you could think of, and she's done well at most of them. So she never does. Even though she likes her best, she goes for parties. She does all those things. No more, but she was never a dancer on the pole. It's just the truth. Not because there's anything derogatory about being a dancer on the pole in the shrine, but she just wasn't one of them. And my father is not there. He's still very much alive. So I mean, it's a proud thing to be associated with the family. You get me? By blood. It's something that I never denounce. I'm quick to say, yes, I'll be family. If you look at me as a stubborn person because of that, or you have a certain antecedents in your mind because of the history of the family and the bias you might have because some people don't have bias for the family, you know, that we're always very stubborn in our house or in trouble. But in the end, I'm proud of the family because it's a truth-speaking family in the end of it. So, but all right, and you know, if any of these journalists that came out with these publications were to just try, I'm very accessible. Like, look how easy I'm. Like, I do as much as possible to be as accessible as possible, even though you have a management to go through. Anyway, I do try to make it as easy as possible because I'm in this conversation. If they try to ask me questions, I'll have been happy to answer and provide them information. Whether going out to publish things that would generate false impression in the minds of the public, forgetting that the internet is like wildfire. This thing will catch.
Once it's on the internet, it stays. Once it's on the internet, it stays.
How do you expect Seun Kuti to feel? I mean, how do you expect my parents to feel? You need to just understand. Be a little. We value the craft. We understand that bloggers are needed. We appreciate your news and what you put in, but just having some truth behind, just do that extra work to inquire and you would always find the truth and it makes everything make sense. Excuse me.
Okay, so I am originally from Zimbabwe, right? I grew up in Zimbabwe and I was watching then we used to call them Nigerian movies before I even knew about Nollywood. And I just want to ask you, when did you discover that you would be a star? I mean, and then when did you discover that Titi Kuti is a star, is a Nollywood actor or a star, Nollywood star?
All right, Josie, I'm going to be very truthful with you, all right? This industry for me was never about becoming a star. It was pure passion.
Wow.
Started from a passion point, yes. My very first exposure to cameras was when I was a model. That was my first transitional career as far as creativity and arts is concerned. So I was a model. From modeling, I got a total exposure with a multinational telecommunications company who signed me up for TBC, billboard, airport branding, print press. It was a full exposure. And in the space of 1 year, I did 6 TVCs for them. So that was my first, and this was like 17 years now, about that. First touch into being on camera. From that, I gravitated to being a presenter at one of Nigeria's top lifestyle television back then. It's called Nigezie TV. Presenter on Nigezie. From there, I started acting too. And then my boss came on set one day when I was working behind the scene, and he saw how much input I had, how participatory I was, and he told me straight up, like, look, you have the ruggedity for production. Like, I'm going to make you the producer of this show. So I became the producer of my show. And 3 months after, I became the producer of 4 other shows on the channel. At the end of that year, I became the head of production in the TV station. Shortly, big format events, that's reality shows and stuff, came to Nigeria. Glow Nigerians, Nigeria's Got Talent, Nigerian Idols, all of them. I worked on all of them. So for the next 5 years after my life as a presenter, I was literally into production. And that's how I got off screen for some time. So, but it's all still in the same craft. It's the same passion that drives, it's the same energy to create something memorable or to be a part of something that puts a smile on people's faces, to be a part of a creative process that will leave a footprint in the sand of time. So I didn't gravitate back into being on screen until about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 4 years ago, which one was your first movie or film?
My first film was a series called Emerald. Okay. And that was back when I was in Nigeria. That was in 2009.
Yeah, what was it about?
I played the character of a young university thug.
Thug.
Yeah, get money outside school, So like I got in some trouble. I got in a lot of trouble, and the whole journey of my character was trying to unwind from all the trouble I was getting into. And while trying to unwind, I was getting into more trouble.
Okay.
The second one I was going to do was a show that I actually produced. It was for African Magic. It's a DSTV platform.
Yeah.
So for one of their commission shows back then, it's called African Magic Hustle. It was comedy series, 120 episodes is what we had to shoot, and that was just for a year, and I did it for 3 years. So 120 a year, that's 6 months. 240 episodes, another 6 months. So in all, we did 370 episodes. But the first 120 was where I started to get back into acting. I was a producer on the show, and then one of those days we had some day players who were on set already and were very overreaching, and they wanted us to give us more money, thinking that we, had no choice because we were on set. So what I did was I walked up to my head writer and I told him to rewrite the script and create a character right there and there. And the character's name was Jaden, and I told him I was going to take on the character. So he was skeptical because none of them knew that I had a television background. They didn't know where I was coming. Most of them were, we met on the project and stuff. And he just couldn't disobey me because I was the one that hired him. I was the superior on set. So he did that, and then I acted the role. I did the role so well that Jaden became a consistent D player on Hustle. So we didn't have need for any day players anymore. So I come on set at 5 a.m. in the morning. I do my production responsibilities till 12 midday. I go to the wardrobe department. I change into my costume to get my makeup done. I jump on set to do my scenes. And then my crew members are making fun of me. I'm very warm. As much as I can be strict as a producer, I'm very warm. So my guys, they know when it's joke, when it's playtime is playtime, when it's So,
but I just told you, when someone looks at you like a sponge, you're not like that hard. Like...
Yeah, I actually can be very firm. My default personality can be very firm, I know. So I've over the years, I've tried to tone it down because most times it creates a wrong impression. People just have a false impression that this guy must be a nasty person. He's not nice, he's but so I've tried to tone it down. But when it comes to work, I'm all out.
Okay.
So my colleagues, my crew members are making fun of me, and then I do my responsibilities, and when I'm done 3 hours after, I jump back into the wardrobe department, get back in my sweaty production outfit, and I'm back on set.
Wow.
So I started to get back into acting. Shortly after I finished the second season, that's after 270 episodes, I auditioned for a remake of a 90s blockbuster back there. Anybody that grew up in Nigeria in the 90s would know Palace. So yes, and I got the supporting lead role as actor's name was Blogger G. Wally was my mom in the series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even mention
that when you met her, or you knew her before.
Actually, on Hustle.
Okay.
So on Hustle, I was a producer. So I'd worked with her as a producer first on Hustle. She was one of the lead characters in Hustle, and then now I'm working with her as an actor on Palace. That's where we kind of bonded properly. The relationship kind of it became a formidable relationship from that transition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now everybody is here because of King of Boys. Let's talk about King of Boys. When were you approached, and how was it for you when you were told we want you to feature in King of Boys? What was your first reaction?
All right, are you ready for this story? Because that's
I am so ready. ready for this story like for weeks.
My brother's the king of boys is a story that should be written into a script on its own. So after we finished shooting Palace, that's myself and Shola Shibawale, she got casted immediately for King of Boys, and I moved on to a project called MTV Sugar with a production company called Smart Media back then. So I was with Smart Media while as a producer while she was already with Kemi. They already started shooting some scenes, and then our camps were like 10 minutes apart. And then she had started tormenting me that it was becoming a torment because if you know her, you know that she doesn't joke around. I mean, when Shola is a friend, skip the age barriers. Your friend, she's through and thorough. She doesn't do halfway with anybody. So at that point, I become her friend. So she was feeling, I felt she was feeling offended that I hadn't come to visit her all the while that I've been on set, even though we were so close. So I decided to pay a surprise visit. The hotel she was camped is the place I've camped severally on different projects. So everybody knew me there. I didn't have any restrictions in the place. So I just asked for her room number. I walked in and I walked right there. I called her on the phone and told her that I had a gift for her at the door that I had given it to room service to bring to the door. And then she was like, why couldn't you come yourself? So you came here to give me a gift. And then she opens the door and then she finds me laughing. So we exchanged pleasantries and started talking. And 5 minutes later, she excuses herself to make a call. I don't make anything of the call as at that time. Not until Kemi Ade Tiger, that's the director, walks in the room. And I'm like, okay. So myself and Kemi exchanged pleasantries. We hugged. We had spoken twice through a friend of hers, Uche Ikechimba, who is the producer of Big Brother Nigeria. So we met in person. He was just there. So she was like, oh, yeah, that's him. So we started talking, we started gisting, and next thing, 5 minutes after, the conversation gravitates towards KOB. Straight that when she was writing the script and creating Ade Tiger, the embodiment of how it should look walked in person when she saw me. And I'm like, okay. So I took it as a friendly compliment. I didn't. And then I'm looking at Shola Shibawale. She had this smirk on her face, like, like that conspiracy that has come. And I'm like, she has never admitted to it. Even though I know that she was very instrumental in the orchestration. She must have reading the script and reading the character Bible, my picture must have just put out this guy, this is the guy.
Exactly. Because you did it so well. It was just meant for you.
Yeah. So I'm sure she must have been pressuring Kemi Ade Tiger about it. And all she had to do was to arrange the meeting for her to be sure herself. So at that time, there was already somebody on set who had been hired for KOP, for Ade Tiger.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I found out, I told Kemi, all right, everything you have said is all good, but I mean, I can't come and truncate somebody else's destiny. This is this person's. So I'm sure we'll have other opportunities to work together and do something else. But this one, let this guy do it. And then at that very moment, her brother walks into the room. His name is Remi Ade Tiger with a and I'm like, okay, I see you guys are serious about this. But as I said, I'm not going to do this to somebody who has given his time, set himself out, carve time to be on set, disengage from other activities. And then Remy was like, no, I sorted that already. Like before coming here, I went to meet him and I paid him full remuneration just so he can understand that we don't take him for granted. So Remy actually paid the actor that was supposed to play Ade Tiger complete remuneration without him acting on set for 1 day.
Wow. And
all of this happened within 1 hour that I was there. So that's why I said it was a story. So I said, all right, if that has been said and that part is resolved, it's not a problem. And it was a lot of money they paid him. Like they paid him full. It was a lot of money. So that just explained the level of seriousness, and that showed me that this person actually does have. And I'm a daring risk taker myself. So when who are willing to take risk and jump at things, it's a natural attraction that I cannot resist. So I saw the level they were going to. I saw the level of risk they were willing to manage, just because they wanted to tell the story and
Exactly.
And so I jumped in and I said, all right, give me 3 days to read the script and embody just read the script, and so afterwards I can know where to start. And they were like, no problem. The only thing that I would ask you is that you spend those 3 days here. We've already booked your room. And that is how I ended up not going home.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't go. I read the script. Okay,
you read the script? Yeah, go ahead.
I read the script and I was charmed. So here's one thing that is not common in our part of the world. Most times, you don't find a lot of producers that give actors a character Bible. So in short, Kemi was in about 4 years, Kemi's script was the first I was seeing that came with a character Bible. So, and the character Bible is almost as big as the script. All it does is describe the character of all roles, so you can understand who they are. And trust me, all of that information reflected in my delivery. Because I had perspective. So reading Ade Tiger's character, I was charmed. It was something different from the norm. Because usually, one would expect the usual, you'd see people who bear names like that, who look like, they look so big. I was very fit for the film, no doubt about it. I was really, I wasn't a Barrosa looking guy, you know, with thick voice and this scar on my face. Nah. She wanted to tell the real mafioso story. Like, this is how the mafias look. They don't look like all these things you guys are saying. They don't look, you would smell the danger being around them. No matter, even with looking calm, you would smell the danger around them. You would see the danger in their demeanor. Like, you would see that these guys are bad men, but they don't need to look it. They look clean.
Exactly.
It was a charm. Second thing that got me was the fact that it was a fresh challenge. If you notice KOB1, I appeared in 24 scenes in total. And out of scenes, I spoke 5 times in all. So anybody who's an experienced actor would tell you that one of the most difficult things to do as an actor,
appear and only
roles. Like, I was in 24 scenes, but all 24 scenes, you miss the remaining 20 scenes.
Yeah.
All I communicate with was attitude, emotions, character. And even if for speaking scenes, you will still have to end up backing up your scenes with emotions. So imagine if and so it was a fresh challenge. People will not get it. That can be one for me. It was a fresh challenge. I pushed some muscles that I haven't used before.
Now you're making me go back. I actually want to go back and rewatch it now and study your emotions.
You got to watch it.
Yeah.
The embodiment of the character, the expression was non-verbal most of the time. Non-verbal. So you got to communicate with people on screen without saying a word. They're watching your eyes, they're watching your movement. That's all you're communicating with. That is so it was a fresh experience for me, and I loved it. Even if KOB2 never came, I was satisfied with my delivery on KOB1. And the extra effort I had to put and the distance it pushed me as an actor. So I was satisfied.
So Ade, tell me, oh no, Ade. Now see, Ade Tiger. Titi, okay, I'll call you Ade or Titi, it's fine, right?
Yeah, forgive me, you're not the first.
Okay, so do you love black naturally, like dress in black? Because it really came out so perfectly. It's so much on KOB.
Yes, I would say that black would pass as one of my top 3 favorite colors. I would say so, because it can be very sober, it can be very calm, it can also be very expressive. Okay. There's a way you combine your black that you can actually speak with black.
Yeah.
You get me? So colors are nice. You can, colors pop, they get attention and stuff, but black, you can actually speak with black. You can speak with black outfits. So yes, I actually do like black outfits. Even though I wear colored stuff a lot of times, and I try to mix it. Like I'm wearing a black shirt now, a gray jacket. I'm wearing a yellow scarf. So I would always throw in something here and there to just dilute it and tone it down. I do like black. But as far as KOB costume is concerned, that is another story on its own.
That's actually my next question. I wanted to ask about the wardrobes, because KOB wardrobe was par and par. I mean, for every actor, for every actress. I mean, Eniola herself, yourself, the first lady. It was perfect. Yeah, tell me about the wardrobe.
So the wardrobe, Kemi did something monumental with the wardrobe again, something very unusual. The stylist that worked with me and most of the other men, his name is Angel, fantastic guy, was hired 2 months before we commenced.
He's Nigerian?
He's Nigerian, yeah.
Okay.
Was hired 2 months before we commenced. And then after he read the script, we spent the last month before shoot, one-on-one, and he did the same thing with every other actor, brainstorming on our idea of how the character should look. So I pretty much gave him my idea of the characters, and I came down to 5 people. Tom Cruise in John Wick, I said Keanu Reeves in John Wick, Keanu Matrix, Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, Pierce Brosnan in Die Another Day, James Bond, and the film played. That's Wesley Snipes. So I had an embodiment of 5 characters to create one. And this guy was able to interpret, he merged it and interpreted it perfectly. So every outfit that he came with, it wasn't the director that said, oh, this is what, the director just gave her own ideas, but it was the actor who spoke to one-on-one. So we broke down every scene for KOB, every single scene. We broke down the outfit for every scene, and we had options. And eventually, the choices that we eventually made and presented to Kemi, all of them ended up flawless. So when you put in extra efforts, you would see it. I mean, she didn't hire him on set and say, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to do, and then just do it like this and do it. No, she gave the guy the free will, talk to the actors, hear how they want to look, hear, understand the embodiment of the character.
So was it the same even for Eniola and everybody else?
Yes, it was the same. Although it was a female stylist that worked with Eniola. Her name is Tiana. But it was the same thing. All of them were hired about 2 months before we started filming. 2 months. The one that was farthest was hired a month before filming.
Wow.
So they spoke to the character. You know, she would sometimes, and this at some point, everybody developed relationships. But myself, I would call Angel sometimes. There was a day that we were supposed to meet up together, and he had an accident in his car. You know, so we became that bond. So when he comes, he listens to me, and I listen to him. So when you can get cast and crew to that level of bonding, the result will be impossible things created, and that's what happened. So even though he was, you know, the only thing that we took from Kemi is that his outfit needs to look calm and sober, which is why black was most consistent. But the interpretation of the black, the props, you know, the overall jacket,
the gloves for me, the gloves throughout.
That's significant guns all the time. You know, it was. The interpretation is the little pieces, and everything was created. It was created. It was carefully created, and it turned out amazing.
And how long was it? I mean, in the making of KOB, how long was it? How many months did it take you guys to make KOB?
Okay, so principal photography for KOB took 4 months, although it was planned for 3. But we had so many reshoots. We had to reshoot so many scenes, and it's possibly one of the longest films to have been shot in Nigeria in recent times. Really, the average span of time is 1 to 2 months at the most. And sure, I know of some producers that were, you know, they had their noses up like, oh, what is she shooting for 4 months? She's just wasting money. But the girl knew what she was doing. We spent, I'm sure we went 1/3 of the budget over budget on just reshoots alone. Because when you want to create something impossible, you will encounter impossible challenges. Exactly. Difficult film to shoot, I can tell you. Like, KOB on its own is a film. But look at what happened. She was willing to go the mile. She, you know,
she did, and she achieved it. Yeah.
She went beyond this. She went beyond money. Nobody was thinking about money on set. Like if we borrow it, nobody was thinking about money. Everybody was thinking about the story. We had times when we would shoot some scenes, and in our little, because we had a little actors WhatsApp chat room where we chat, and then when we start to come up with those things, and then we see that the scene could have been done better, the minute we tell Kemi about it, she's on board. I, as a person, had worked with 90% of the crew members on other productions. So once they hear that I want to do anything, there is no reason they are happy. I've worked with all these actors on different sets too. So the unity, there is no crew member grumbling about reshooting a scene. There is no cast. There are cast members that Reminisce had to cancel a show, a paid show for, you know. Luckily for us, the brand that had the show was one of the part sponsors on KOB, so there was a little bit of understanding. The day we were supposed to shoot the first round table scene, that scene took 11 hours to set up.
Wow.
Took art direction, like they got in at 7 a.m. in the morning. The setup was not ready until 6 p.m. and that was just one department. And the lighting came in. Everybody, by the time we were ready for shoot, it was 9 at night, 12, because it was a night scene. So let's just say in all, it took 14 hours to set up that scene. And then we got on set and rain started falling. Did not stop until it was bright in the morning. Because you spend 11 hours to set up a scene.
You might as well. Exactly.
Like that set.
Mm.
We struck that set because somebody else had something else to do the next day.
Wow.
So the rain did not stop. And that's just nature. Who do you blame? So we didn't shoot it. And then the other time, the only other available time that all the other actors were available and everything, Reminisce had the show.
Oh my God.
He had to cancel the show. Like he went to Guinness, he spoke to them like, I can't do this show today. And this is a show that already had publication, there was artwork and stuff. So imagine, so that's the level of sacrifices individually people were willing to. Like if you hear the sacrifices that people took for KOB. So you can't go that mile for film. Spend 4 months on a Nigerian set. I personally took 1 month before filming to disengage from all activities.
Just to understand the script, to read the script, get your clothes. Oh yeah, I can imagine.
I paid for projects. I was supposed to start a new African Magic project. I returned the money. Like I can do it. Find somebody else. Because I'd seen bits and pieces of the script. Even after acting part one, I had seen that the story was going in this, the story was going to be very much in my direction this time around because I'm like the only person that is left as the child figure for Eniola Salami. So I saw the weight of and all the things that people used to imagine me doing part one because it just me I was the bad guy. They didn't really see me do much.
To be honest with you, there's a time I hated you so much. I wish I could get into the screen and strangle you.
It's
but
not you alone.
When I found out, it was actually just a strategy, I fell in love so much. He's the most loyal person I've seen in my life. But my question now is, let's differentiate between Ade Tiger and Titi Kuti. What are the similarities there? Are there any differences, similarities between these two characters?
Okay, so what I would say in this regard is, and every actor will agree with me, that if you act some scenes that resonates character traits that are embedded in you, it will reflect in your delivery. Your delivery will be stronger in those scenes because you emotionally to those scenes, much easier than the ones that you have to build the character. So I'm not going to be one to say their character. I mean, you're going to have to ask people that have worked with over the past 14 years in this industry at different spheres, what their take on Titi Kuti being Ade Tiger is, because people are your mirror. Like, I can't be a reflection of myself. So, and these people are very easy to come across. Like everybody's out there, from Kwame in Nigeria, from all the guys in African Magic. You can just, if you want to find out about me in one day, you can find out all I've done in 14 years. So the right people to ask if there are character traits between Ade Tiger and Titi Kuti are the people I've actually worked with. But what I can say is, as an actor, if you act scenes that resonate some character traits that you exhibit as a person, it will reflect in your delivery. Your delivery will be stronger and it will connect more with the audience. Personally, I work with 3 principles as a person. Do what is right by God. Sometimes God just means humanity, universe, you get me. However you be human, you get me. Second principle means let your word be your bond. When you say something, stay on your word. So I will not change my word. And the principle is by empathy. Empathy has to do with emotions, and there's a reason why empathy is the last. Because if you make all your decisions based on empathy first, you will make all your decisions will be wrong. So when you have solidified your foundation and you have kept your word, then you cannot use emotions to just wrap everything up in a nice way. So usually for me is the last. The first 2 have to do with formation. Like just keep it strict, keep it principled. So I need that a loyal person or like Ade Tiger,
when I think of, like I told you, I want to rewatch it again because I actually want to count how many times you spoke. You said only 5 times. I really want to watch and count.
In the part 1 was 5.
You sealed the whole movie. You sealed the whole movie. The following day, when it finished, when I watched, when other people watched, the following day, everybody would be just talking about Ade Tiger. The part where you held Eniola Salami and say those powerful words. It was just it, because everybody felt you were going to deceive her. You were going to betray her, So when you ended the series with those words, that was so powerful. Are you loyal in real life like that?
I try. Everybody, nobody, like I said, I'm not the person. It is people, because you can't be loyal to yourself. It is
Mm.
you can be loyal to. So you will have to have a word with
I
people.
must speak to Eniola.
Yes,
Oh, I
and
must speak to her.
there's a long list of people you can talk to, and they are all online. You don't even have to ask me personally. They are everything I've done. There is no project I've been on at whatever capacity that you can sweep under the carpet. All of them are very visible projects. So you're gonna have to talk to the people that I've worked with. And, just do a self-inquiry by yourself, like, okay. And this goes for anybody that wants to know also. Just talk to the people that I'm not the one that can say. It's the people that I've worked with that will say, okay, in the time working with this guy, I can say this and this and this about him. So, but I'm confident about what you're going to hear anyway. But I'll let you.
I'll let you know. So should we expect part 3, part 4, part 5?
Okay, so let me be very clear on something. Part 2 happened because of the voices of you guys.
Okay, so we need to raise our voices.
I think it's pretty loud already, but we call it Sorosuke, which is pick up. So if the Sorosuke is loud enough, trust me, part 2 will happen just the same way part 3 happened. So, but because the producers are listening, the sponsors, Netflix, they are listening, and in the end of it all, we as actors are like public servants who, we have an obligation to keep showing up, to put smile on people's faces. So if people want more of it, we have no choice. We have to put ourselves together and make it happen for them.
All right. So what advice would you give to upcoming artists or actors that look up to you? I know after watching KOB, a lot of youths are looking up to you. What advice would you give them if they also want to take up acting as a profession?
Okay, so I would say that the first point for everybody who has, you need to ask yourself a question: why do I want this? You need to know you need to know why you want it first before, because that is what will determine the direction you will gravitate towards. If you are here for money, yeah, you can, but if you are here for, then we're talking, because passion is what will keep you going in the difficult times, in the hard times when quitting. I've been at points when quitting was the only option. Like I had no other choice but to quit. I didn't quit. So you will find yourself in those moments, and the only thing that will keep you going is passion. If passion is not the foundation or the bedrock that is propelling you, you're not going to go too far. It's past has its ways of repaying people back, and sometimes it seems fair, sometimes it doesn't seem fair. That's not your take. I mean, you were born into this world. You don't own the world, so let the makers of the world determine who gets a chance first, who doesn't get the chance first. But eventually everybody gets their chance. Understand that. But first, ask yourself why you are here.
Okay.
It's passion, then you're in the right place. Money is good, but money is material. It is not substantial. Passion is substantial. Passion, when you say substance is something that makes life worth living or makes whatever you are doing worth doing. Money is a material end. It is not. So if you are in money, you might find the money, but when you encounter challenges, that money is not going to take you through it. It won't. And people always confuse passion for, yes, I know a lot of times passion, people have different character traits, and by that they will gravitate towards different things. So for me, I think the passion is inborn, but passion is something that can be developed.
Exactly. Yeah.
People get it wrong. Not everybody is born with a passion for something, but passion, what's passion? It simply means find a substantial reason to do this thing. That's all it means. So you need to find substance. If you love the industry, you love what you see, you need to find a substantial reason why you want to go into it. If you can find that, then you have found passion, because that substantial reason is what can grow, not the material reason. That's my first advice. Second advice is show up every day.
Great.
That's the slogan. When it's convenient, show up. When it's inconvenient, show up. When it works in your favor, show up. When you fail, especially, show up. When things are not working well, show up. You got to keep showing up.
Wow.
So, yes, and that's the reason why I put passion. Understand why you are there first. Because when you get to those points, if there is no passion, then you don't have a foundation. Keep showing up every day. That's it. Because for every day you show up, you are better at it.
Good advice.
So, yeah. Third advice, One, bury pride.
Mm-hmm.
Pride, man, self-pride is a limitation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, even when I was a producer on Hustle, I went for auditions. And then I met actors that I casted on my own show. And then we killed in line together, you know, to take our turns in the auditions. And then some of them made fun of me, like, oh, guy, you did follow us hustle this. And I'll laugh about it because I have the right to be here as you. Because, I mean, when I'm a producer, yes, I will do my job as a producer. But I'm here for an audition. So I will take my turn. Everybody will go before me and I'll go when it's my turn. Mm-hmm. If you have your shoulders up, and you know, if you're at some social status quo, you can't do something. You're giving yourself a self limitation. So go. There is no shame in it. I mean, it's acting. You are going to be acting. You are going to be creating characters that you know are not you sometimes. So if you're shy or you're proud that you can't go for auditions, you can't do some certain things. If they tell you to roll on the floor in the audition, roll on the floor, roll twice. That's what
pride aside.
Yeah, put that thing aside. My last advice is self-development. You see Shola Shebowale, Richard Moffat Damijo saying, this all of these iconic actors that are doing so amazing. They didn't fall from the sky with talent. These guys have kept at this craft for 20 decades and still have not stopped. I was talking to RMD the other day when he was supposedly out of the country to spend some time with, you know, just to have some fun. Baba was doing monologues. He just saw a catchy character in the film and he did his own monologue of it. And Shola is always reading novels, creating characters from the novels she's reading. Even now, at her level of acting, that give her any script right now, she will deliver. She's still working on herself, self-development. So you got to keep developing yourself.
Good advice.
So, leave the rest to the universe. Leave it to, you know, time and chance will come. There are people that, as at the time I started acting, they picked up so well and, you know, they've done well because that was their time. And this is what, 10 years after that, I'm just getting a prop, you know, and I don't mind because I've had a lot to learn in between. No time was lost. No time. I've learned I've grown in capacity in other sectors of production in the time. So just the one that is the business of the universe to manage, leave it to the universe. By universe, some people would say God, you know. The one that is leave it to God. The one that is yours to manage, just put those four together and leave the universe to do its own bit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that advice. I see a lot of comments. People are really happy with the advice that you've given them. But are you thinking of grooming some youths into acting or into production? Do you have that in mind?
I've always been one person that opens up every opportunity I can. Even when I was fully a producer, I would always like to discover new talents. So that's something that is embedded in me because that is the only way an industry can grow. I've never been an individualistic person. I have always been a higher perspective person. I look at things from above and how we can impact the industry. So yes, definitely, with every opportunity I have, I like to give people a chance. It may not be one-on-one individual mentorship. Like I advise people, I don't have one mentor. I have a lot of people that I look up to, and you know, because sometimes when you have just one mentor, what you end up being is in the best of the protege of that person. You get shadow somebody for long enough, you become. But if you are not, you can't be that person. No matter how much you try, you cannot be exactly that person. You can only have your mannerism or tailor your doings close enough to how that person does it. So for me, I have mentors that don't even know me and don't even know that they're my mentor. Samuel L. Jackson is my mentor. Oh, wow. Yeah, because how do I communicate with him? I watch his master series.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for it online, and I watch his master series. I learn. You get me? Denzel Washington is my mentor. These guys have stories because I read their stories first. I understand where they're coming from, and I see how they go to where they go to. So the perception, their understanding of the industry, the kind of advice they will give to you in their master series will differ from somebody who hit it from his first movie. You get me? Yeah, so I mean, I would always be open to every time I have an opportunity. I try to speak to people. I try to inspire them, just because that's what life is all about. If you're making impact, if you're not doing anything that is making people develop themselves, making people try to learn and grow, you're not doing anything. I mean, it makes no meaning at the end of it. If the becomes the best actor in the world, nobody can. You've not touched anybody's life. Nobody can say, "Oh, watching this guy, oh." watching this guy on IG Live with Josie, or watching him at some other platform, or having the chance to talk to him. People talk to me in my DMs. I try as much as possible to respond.
You do. You do. That's true.
Open up. Like, look, it's simple. This is me, like an open book. So definitely, with opportunities presented to me, I would always give chances to look out for people that I can inspire, even if not directly on those projects, even if it is people that have to watch those projects. It's all about inspiring people to me. Just inspire people, let them, positively gravitate towards their craft. Understand that there will be challenges, but if it is something that you love, know that it's a rare opportunity you have as an actor or as a content producer, because what you're doing, your craft is embedded in people's happiness. I was at a show about 2 weeks ago, the Bovi show in Calgary, Alberta, and I met a couple of fans that were overwhelmed, like they were speechless when they saw me, and because I understood where their emotion came from, like you have given this person an experience, an unforgettable experience, such that the person is short of words seeing you in person. It's that experience they are remembering. It means whatever they were doing with their time when they were watching KOB, whatever problem they had in life didn't make any meaning at that moment. They were just joy at watching you. That is a privilege. And that's something, it's a privilege, it's a responsibility. You got to show up. So I walked up to these guys. I was the one that, I warmed up and, I actually gave them a warm hug. Like, it's okay. It's me, I'm here. Because understanding where that emotion is coming from, like, the privilege is actually yours as the actor. It's a rare privilege for you to be able to do that to a person. So it's all about inspiring people. It's all about inspiring people. I spoke at the show, and for 10 minutes, 5 minutes out of it was just trying to inspire people, just letting people know that, look, in this world, when you have been given an opportunity, when you have been given the privilege to impact lives, you gotta understand that the universe did not make a mistake by doing it. Don't let it get into your head. Just stay focused, find a way, there are people that need to benefit from it, that don't even know you. There are people that need to just hear you and just watch you, and just there are breaking points in their life that all they had to do was hear you speak. So when you put that behind your mind every time, you will always be about expansion. You will always be about inspiring people with every opportunity you have.
Okay. Wow, this has been a very insightful live chat, Titi. A lot of people are actually saying they want to go and rewatch KOB after this interview. I mean, I don't know, a lot of stuff to compare. For me, I'm also going to rewatch because I want to count how many times you spoke. But it has been a real honor having you here, and thank you so much. But I will not let you go without saying those last words you said on KOB. They just melt my heart. Nobody is not here. Please just say them.
The one where Oba heard my face and I was like, till I die, Oba.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Titi Kuti. I mean, this is just the beginning. We'll keep following up on your journey. I'm one of the biggest fans of KOB, and I'm waiting for my
KOB merchandise.
Yes.
All right. Noted.
Okay. Any last words to people that are watching us?
Absolutely. I can't live without saying a big thank you to all of them. I mean, it's the weekend, it's a Saturday, wherever you are in the world, people are trying to spend their time with their families. People are doing, on their hustle, trying to get things on, and they could still make out the time to be here. Like, I'm seeing the numbers of people that are showing up, and I'm so amazed. And all I can say is thank you guys so much for sparing your time to be with us in this chit chat. I don't take it for granted. I know Josie doesn't take it for granted. We really appreciate you guys, and definitely just know that at the end of it all, whatever I do in life would always be to put smiles on your faces. Every time you see me on your screen, I will always do my best to show up for you guys and put smile on your faces. So I love you all till I die.